friends. Welcome back to the Rebel Show. We got a good one today. I hope everyone's doing well. We're in a season, it's winter, it's the new year, so happy new year. We're in February now, and we've had 2 days of like 55-degree weather, and it feels like summer. That's weird, right? But it's been nice having a few warm days here in Colorado. So today I want to talk about like thoughts and intents of the heart. You know, we live in a society right now that there's so much crime and corruption and evil things. And people think that they've been given like an unjust hand, you know, and it's not the way it is. There's more to it. So as Americans, we should want to see our neighbors succeed and prosper, and our friends and people around us. We should want them to prosper, and they should want us to prosper. We shouldn't be jealous of other people that are prospered, and that's happening a lot anymore. You know, societies contend with many conditions that deal with motivations of the heart. And by heart, I mean the thoughts and feelings we allow to play out in our minds, in our imaginations. They're a huge deal. These thoughts can lead to actions. Our thoughts typically lead to actions. If we think on something for a while, it's easier to do it if you get the opportunity. You know, some of the thoughts and scenarios we need to not let play out in our minds are things like murder, greed, gluttony, rape, war, stealing, especially war when you're starting war. If you're defending yourself, that's different. You know, it's too bad God didn't give scripture rebuking those type of things. Oh, but wait, he did. So, you know, these issues come from inside us, from not controlling ourselves and our thoughts. And so in James 4:1, it says, "From whence comes wars and fightings among you? They come not hence even of your lusts that war in your members." So it's saying that these things come from lust and self-centeredness that is inside us because we allowed ourselves to go there in our minds. You know, if a man wants jewelry, he robs on the street for it. If he wants sex, he rapes someone, or jealous, he kills someone. And guess what? This has been happening forever. In Genesis 4:8, Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass that then they were in the field. Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So this was over a sacrifice, and he was jealous of his brother. And he allowed himself to get angry and think on this and think on this and think on this till he said, I'm going to kill him. And then he imagined doing it, and he did it. So Cain killed Abel out of jealousy. And too bad murder was not on the books at that point, right? Because then he wouldn't have done it. If it was illegal to murder right then, he wouldn't have done it, right? Would it have mattered? No, because laws don't matter to those who have ill intentions. They don't care. They want to get what they want, and they want to do what they do. If laws mattered, would there be crime? Why are laws written? To enact punishment for a crime or a deterrent? Think about these things. It's interesting. Like, it seems like every 5 minutes there's a new law. Is it really helping? You know, take gun control, for instance. Gun control wants to do two things. Or it does two things, trying or masking something else. You know, it wants to punish gun owners and remove guns. That's what gun control is really about. Because even in Genesis 4:8, there was murder. So do we ban whatever Cain used? Or do we change the heart of man? You know, speaking of gun control, what other situations do we punish law-abiding people for the crimes of criminals? So if I speed and get a ticket, do you get your license taken away? No. If I steal from a supermarket, do you get kicked out of the store? No. It's craziness. Patrick Henry said, "When the people forget God, that tyrants forge their chains." Because remember, to live in a republic like we have, you need to be a moral people. You need to have self-control over what you do. Or else more and more laws come in. You know, Franklin said, only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. That's huge. That's a huge statement. Capable of freedom. Because you have to control yourself. And the more and more laws get put on us, the less free we are. Noah Webster said, almost all civil liberties enjoyed in the world owes its origins to the principles of the Christian religion. It's because the Christian religion promotes behavior control. That's huge. Behavior control. We need to think about this. all civil liberties enjoyed is because of the Christianity behavior control. All the miseries and evils which men suffer from vice, crime, ambition, injustice, oppression, slavery, and war proceed from despising or neglecting the precepts contained in the Bible. It's 100% true. If we would just listen to the words in the Bible and not and heed to it, a lot of the things that we do in life, a lot of the crimes, a lot of the laws would be gone. Take, for instance, Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So in dealing with business, don't charge people unfairly. Don't rip people off. Don't price gouge. That's wrong. It's saying right here, Proverbs 12:14. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth. So, with the fruit of his mouth. So he's producing something. He's working. He's going out there and gaining and doing what needs to be done. Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the diligent shall be made fat. So someone that, now fat here isn't talking about weight gain. It's talking about like possessions or a savings account or some sort of like income. The soul of the diligent. So someone that goes out and works consistently, puts money away consistently, invests consistently, will have abundance. That's what it's talking about. Proverbs 13:22. I'm going to go through these. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So a good man leaves an inheritance. I love this scripture because I'm leaving an inheritance to my children's children. It's one of my goals, and I'm right on route. It's because it's a godly thing to pass down wealth. It's a godly thing to have wealth. Just think about how much good can you do wealthy versus poor? How can you help people if you're poor? You can't. You can't help anyone. And I like that the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. You know, sometimes there's wealth transfers, and people that have been doing things wrong, their businesses go down. There's corruption. That's why, is because they've been doing things wrong and not following the precepts of God. Their hearts are wrong. Why would you do something evil unless your heart is evil? Proverbs 14:26. The fear of the Lord is strong confidence. I love this one because you can go out and accomplish anything if you have a strong relationship with God. He'll give you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to go out and accomplish. Proverbs 14:34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is reproach to any people. So when a nation rises through doing things correctly, that's what God blesses, when the people are righteous before him. A country can get by with a few external laws if the people had internal law, right? If I know it's bad to steal from my neighbor, I'm not going to do it. And if I know that if I diligently work, I can save up and purchase anything I want, I don't need to steal from him. Robert Winthrop was the Speaker of the House in 1849, and he said, men must be governed in some way or another. They must be governed either by the Bible or by the bayonet. So by force or by choosing to control yourself. Internally or externally, morality or laws. How do you choose to guide your life? George Washington said in his farewell address, let us, with caution, indulge in the suppositions or assume that morality can be maintained without religion. And we're seeing more and more people not controlling themselves, more and more laws, and now we have politicians that want to enact socialism, and they want to basically take over all of our lives. And it's because we've allowed ourselves to be slack, we haven't controlled ourselves, we've gotten away from the things of God, and that's the result of it. You know? That's what those Patrick Henry, Franklin, Noah Webster were talking about. So in Matthew 22:35 through 39, Jesus gives us the answer to this. So I'm just going to read this really quick. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, what is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. If we loved others as we loved ourselves, we wouldn't need any of these laws. If we treated each other good, like Jesus asked, we wouldn't need such big government. You know, we all lock our doors at night. It's because we don't follow that principle I just read. Why would you murder if you followed what God's saying here, to love the Lord and love your neighbor? You wouldn't murder your neighbor, you wouldn't rape your neighbor, you wouldn't steal from your neighbor, you wouldn't do business unjustly. And that's the reason, is because we're not following God's principles. We're being selfish, doing things that we want, not thinking of others. And that would change a lot of things in this country and other countries if we would start following this principle. We wouldn't need so many laws. We wouldn't need to lock our doors at night if we thought this way. But we do. And that's where we're at. So I challenge us. I challenge myself. Let's change the way we think, all right? Let's follow these laws, these things that God has for us, and be an example to the world out there, because they need it right now. So thank you very much.